Well guys, you seem to love these top 5 Sweden videos so much that we have decided to make a little mini series on some of our favorite places in Sweden, and we're starting this one off with
the capital, Stockholm. But as you can see, we're not in Stockholm right now. We're actually not even in Sweden. So we're gonna scatter a few clues throughout this video and see if you can guess what country we're in at the moment. And the first clue is these mountains, which are all over the country.
And that's a pretty big clue too. Let's just jump straight into these top 5 things. And number 5 is as soon as you land into Stockholm airport, right next door is the Aeroplane Hotel. And I would definitely say that staying in the Aeroplane Hotel is an experience.
It really is. And it's an old airplane that they've made into a hostel. So you can stay in the engine, the cockpit, the undercarriage, the tail, or just in the walkway, which they've made into kind of like dorm rooms. And
it's really cool because when you enter those cabins, they've still got the overhead lockers where you can put your luggage in to keep it out of the way. But it's a really cool experience, guys. And you know, it's not a 5-star hotel or anything like that by any means. It is very basic. But if you're getting a late night or an early morning flight out of Stockholm, we'd highly recommend staying there. Or if you're coming in quite late or early and you just want somewhere to quickly drop off all your stuff, do it there because it is really, really cool, and staying in the cockpit is a really cool experience as well. Yeah,
and they serve breakfast from 3 o'clock in the morning, which is really good if you have an early flight to catch.
Yeah, so that is number 5 on the list, and coming in at number 4 is another hotel, but this one is a little bit different, and we stayed there as well. It was the prison hotel.
Yeah, and well, it's obviously an old prison. It's one of the most notorious prisons in Sweden, where many of our most notorious criminals have stayed, and also where the last execution ever to take place in Sweden took place.
Yeah. So that is a really, really cool experience, guys. You get to go and stay in your own cell. So the cells have kind of been divided into 2, and then they've got bunk beds, or they've even got double or twin rooms. You've got your own ensuite in each cell. And they've also got a museum downstairs as well, where they've got one of the old cells where you can go in and really get a feel and see what it was like when these prisoners were there hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, and it would have been terrifying.
It had a really eerie feeling to it.
This prison actually closed down in the 1970s, so it's not that long ago, but it's been a prison for a very long time before that.
It's located on Langholman Island, and the great thing about it is, and this brings us into number 3, is to just walk around the city.
We both feel like, we've talked about it in the past, that the best way to explore a city is by foot, because that's the way you see the most interesting things.
But also you understand how to get around, and you understand where everything is a lot better. When we took the train yesterday to get to the Old Town, I looked it up on a map where the Old Town was once we got back to the room, and it was totally different to where I'd envisaged it being. That's the great thing about walking around the city, is you can really get a good understanding of the layout and the floor plan of the city. It is such a beautiful city to just hop out and go for a walk, hop on a Voi scooter and scooter around the city. It is so lovely.
Yeah, and there's so much water and greenery.
That sounds like a clue.
Oh yeah, it is.
Water and greenery, guys. All right, keep going.
And you can just walk around. You can walk all the way into the city if you like. It takes about an hour to walk. So if you like to walk, then
really, really good. And we did that. We walked around the entire city, walked a total of 18 kilometers that day, and it almost killed me. I was so tired by the end of that.
I slept so well that night.
We went to such places like the Haymarket.
Yeah, and Östermalms Saluhall, which is an indoor marketplace.
Yeah, a big shopping strip where we had a lady come up to us and decide that she wanted to be in our vlog.
So we're gonna have to walk home. What was that about?
And then number 2, we saw a guy getting arrested. He got tackled to the ground by police.
Yeah.
It
didn't
was
get that on video though.
Yeah, we did. Well, no, I didn't get the actual tackle down.
No. But
we got the police taking him away. And one of the best places to walk into while you're walking through Stockholm is the Old Town.
Yes, of course. That's one of the most beautiful places in Stockholm.
And that's probably another clue as well.
Why am I talking like this? What?
Yeah, because this country that we're in right now has one of the oldest urban settlements in this part of the world, with one of the oldest old towns that you can go and visit.
Yeah, so There we go.
Yeah.
Now, number 2 is the Old Town, which is just absolutely beautiful. All the buildings are still in their natural form because Sweden has never been part of a world war.
No, so it's never been bombed. All the buildings are in the original state, and there's so much history there.
Yeah, and you can feel that when you're walking around the place.
In the square where Stockholm bloodbath took place, that's a spot you can go and visit.
Yeah, definitely. And that's also home to where the Nobel Museum is.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful and picturesque spot. Another really Instagrammable location with all the colourful buildings that are there. They've got a lovely little water fountain in the square. And they've got some amazing views from those back alleyways and back little side streets that look over the river, and some amazing architectural buildings in the background.
And they've got the oldest cafe in Sweden.
Yes, and you have to go there for fika.
Yeah.
Because it was delicious, and the coffee was free.
What?
Was it?
Or refills.
Yeah, free refills.
Free refills. It's still good, guys. I'm happy with free refills. And guys, this kind of ties into number 1 as well, because inside of the Old Town is the Viking Bar. And that's what's coming in at number 1, guys, because for us, that was probably our most memorable experience of Stockholm. And it wasn't just the bar itself, but the people that worked there.
Shout out to Morris.
Morris, you are an absolute legend, brother. We ended up going into the Viking Bar on an absolute whim. We had no intention of going inside. I just saw a sign and I was like, Josie, we should just quickly get a photo here and check this out. So we went inside, I snapped a photo of Josie, and then we were going to leave. And Josie said, no, I think we should go inside and have a look.
It's the country that has the longest unbroken mead brewing tradition. Every other country stopped brewing mead when they turned Christian. So this is the closest to the original we have. Right back.
Wow, that is really good. Tastes like port.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now throw it on the ground and scream, another, another.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
And I'm glad we did. It's really cool. It's very dark in there, so it's hard to get good footage because the whole place is lit up by candlelight.
Yeah, which creates an amazing atmosphere. And on all the walls, it's kind of almost like a cave feeling to it. And they've got old shields and swords and helmets and all sorts of stuff.
And the food they serve is the kind of food that Vikings would eat. So it's like whole birds and pigs and wild boar and stuff like that. So that is really, really cool.
It's a great experience, and there's so many different meads that you can try too. All the people that work there are dressed up in old Viking style clothing, and it's just it's a really good vibe, guys. They've got singers that come and sing old kind of traditional Swedish folk music. We were meant to come in here for like 2 minutes, 2.5 hours later. It's just so much fun. I think that was probably the thing that I took from Stockholm and will remember for my entire life.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually went there 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, well, we fell in love with Morris so much because he was such a really nice and genuine person. He even invited us to a rave. Sorry, Morris, we didn't make it. But he was just such a friendly and lovely guy. But definitely the number 1 thing, if you go to Sweden, you probably think that it's a bit of a very touristy thing to do. But it wasn't overly crowded or packed. No. It was just a really nice, it almost feels like a hidden secret, even though Swedes know about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we did go there during the pandemic, so we weren't allowed to stand up, so it might be that it's a little bit more crowded now, that there are no restrictions.
Yeah, that's right. We hope that those clues that we gave you helped you a little bit. Should we tell them now where we are?
No, we're going to tell them in the next video.
Alright then, keep your secrets.
Okay, alright. Cheeky, Josie. As I said, this is part 1 and there will be more. But if you enjoyed this one, I'm sure that you'll enjoy the top 5 best things that I love about Sweden.
Yeah.
And that's above Josie now. Click it. Click on Josie's head.